Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to Coach's Playbook. It is Tuesday, August 3rd. We're in August. Whole gang's here, including Carol. Thanks so much for stopping by this week.
Certainly.
Always a pleasure to have you. And we have a great topic today. We're talking about how to stay responsible with your day trading. First, we got a little trader shout out. I understand someone's having some fun in the NQs today, Nick.
Yes. Yeah, really excited. Way Human put up 7,800 in the NASDAQ today. So really good morning.
Yeah, there's been some moves in that today. I've been kind of like half watching it in the background here now. We're up, which is no shock for the NASDAQ lately. So why don't we just get right into it? First, I have a microphone here. This is just for show. I'm trying to put it behind my head like Guy Fieri with the sunglasses. There we go. Anyway, let's talk trading responsibility. Carol, since you're esteemed guest today, I was thinking maybe we could start by what you kind of think about holding yourself responsible with your trading or things that you think worked for you during your career.
Okay. Well, I would say, first of all, I think most people that choose to trade for a living or take it as a serious hobby are people that tend to be accountable, because it is kind of a soul endeavor at the end of the day. You're the one who makes every decision and you have to live with it one way or another. And I think it kind of attracts people who want to have a little more control over their destiny than their Friday paycheck would provide for them. So I think in general, people start out being more accountable in our arena. I would say it's one of the hardest things to do, because there are certain mistakes that you'll find yourself making. And if you don't hold yourself accountable for them and self-correct them, you will continue to do them. There are certain patterns that I like to see on a chart. And I know if this happens, I need to exit my trade. And there are many times when I will say to myself, well, maybe I'll just give it a few more ticks and see what happens here. And inevitably it goes against me. And if I could force myself to be more accountable and stick to what I know or what I believe, I could have eliminated a lot of bad trades. One just recently, I was long some Amazon before the numbers came out. And I don't know if any of you noticed it, but it broke a couple hundred points. I did look at it, and it had, I think, a large day, an inside day. And I said to myself, if it gets below this inside day, I need to get out of this position. It's going to go lower. And I let it go lower. I watched it and I said, what are you going to do about this, Carol? And finally I said, you know what, I'm going to buy a put spread. So I bought a put spread. I still lost money on the trade, but fortunately it was not a horrific loss. But it was really important that I did that. Very important that I did that. And it's real easy to kind of intermingle hope into what you're doing in trading, and you really just kind of have to eliminate that and say, this is serious. I must be accountable. There are rules here, and I'm going to follow the rules that I create for myself.
Yeah, I really like what you said there about it attracting certainly people that are successful and stay in it. It attracts accountable type, because this industry, profession, activity, whatever you would call it, has a way of weeding out the unaccountable folks very quickly.
Yeah.
You blow out accounts very quickly doing that. And also with that Amazon move, there was a lot of people wondering, Bezos blasting off into space, like maybe there was some bad revenue numbers coming. We should have seen it. Hogue, you've been around the block a few times. Is there anything you'd like to add as far as what you've noticed as far as responsibility with your trading?
Well, one of the things that I really adore about what Carol was talking about is the fact that we all have these things that we know we should do, but we sometimes tend to try and get away with it just this one time, and it rarely, if ever, works out. One of the things that I was going to discuss, and especially with people here at Top Step, and we do a lot of content. We do the market forecast, we do the recap, and one of the things that we're very careful to do is not suggest anybody buy or sell anything at any particular level. Okay, we point out levels that might be important to us, but we're not saying or insinuating you should buy here or you should sell here, because that, I think, is one of the biggest crutches for those that do not want to hold on to their own responsibility. If you're in a trading group that's calling trades and you decide to take this one trade and it's a winner, you're going to feel like you're a genius. The bad part of that is if you take a trade that's recommended by somebody else and it's a loss, you bear no responsibility for that. You can just go ahead and
Yes.
say, you know what, this wasn't my trade. He told me to do this, so I don't have any responsibility. When it's not true, you're taking the choice that somebody else is giving to you. I tend to like keeping my destiny in my own hands and making my own decisions and then living with the consequences.
I like that a lot. Dan, since we're just going around the horn here, you're next up. Dan and I are both in the office today, as is MP. We're moving offices, and there is Dan, what does it look like in here right now?
It looks like we're at the flea market. Tables are full of stuff.
Garage sale.
There's a lot to move
Yeah.
when you got an office this big.
Well, maybe down the line, Dan, we have so many old branded Top Step gears. Maybe if some people out there are extra larges or smalls or
Extra
something like
smalls.
that. Or extra. If you're a very small person or large person watching this, we might be able to hook you up at some point. So
I think so.
Yeah, we'll let you know in the next the next week or so. But now back to the show, Dan. What's up?
Absolutely. So first off, got a caveat of what's been said here, right? This is your money. This is what you're trading with. If you're at a prop firm, you're responsible for the capital that you're provided. You need to take control of that. It's not the broker's fault. It's not the platform's fault. It's not the internet's fault. Those are things that you have to do your due diligence, do your research into that. Obviously, if things happen, right, we saw it with crude oil last year. Platforms weren't allowing it to go into negative territory, so they're stopping at zero. Understood. There are certain circumstances that it's not your fault. But at the end of the day, as a trader, you should know your product. You should know that it is able to go negative. That was we all knew that was able to happen. But when it comes down to this, is you are in control. You're the one clicking the mouse. You're the one making that trade decision. You're the one choosing to plan or not to plan. You are the one making all these decisions. I'm an athlete. I competed in a lot of sports growing up, between football, lacrosse, hockey, boxing, martial arts. I've done it all. And I've done sports with teams and sports without teams. And it's very easy when you're on a team and you take hockey and then there's a bad shift and you get an easy goal against you. It's very easy to point the finger because there's 5 other men plus a goalie on the ice. You can pass off a little responsibility sometimes. And in some instances, it's a team effort, and that's all right. But when you're playing sports like boxing and martial arts, which I did, and trading, which is, yourself and only you, and golf is another prime example, you're not out there blaming that, the official was in your way, or, well, he got an easy shot on me because I heard someone talk behind me. No, that's not an excuse. This is the type of person I am. I don't deal with excuses. You've got to continue to accept anything that happens. I played golf a few weeks back with someone, and they were making every bad shot they took. This driver's trash. I need to get rid of this. This pitching wedge is trash. I need to get rid of this. And I will say, I'm not the greatest golfer. I've done that a couple times where I blame my equipment. But who's the one that bought that equipment? I did. Who's the one that uses that equipment? I'm the one that uses it. I'm the one that maintains it. It is my fault. If my equipment sucks, that's my own fault. The same thing applies in trading. You don't like playing golf with someone that's just making excuses left and right. And the same thing with trading. Own what you're doing. I think the best thing about this industry, it's not about being right and wrong. It's truly about being profitable. You can be wrong 100 times in a row, but somehow because you managed risk, you took responsibility, you were accountable to your plan, and you stayed within your system, you can still be profitable even though you're wrong. You accept when you're right, or you accept when you're wrong, you adjust, you trade what that market's showing you. And that's what this is all about. Owning those mistakes helps you grow a lot faster as a trader because you're starting to learn about yourself. If you're not owning those mistakes and you're pointing blame, you're in a trade room and you're blaming the guy that's saying, hey, here's a great buy. If he makes money on it, you lose money on it because he's got a different appetite for risk than you do, but you're quick to blame them because, hey, it was a crappy trade room. He didn't know what he was doing. No, that's exactly what his job is. His job is to execute trades and show you why he's liking those levels.
Yeah,
it's your job as the trader to execute based off of your plan.
It's the wizard, not the wand, right? Like,
I mean, unless it's Harry Potter, and we all know that one wand is really special.
Yeah,
So
I think this is
Dan-
what it's called, that one wand.
So Dan, hockey and golf, are you really Happy Gilmore?
He could be. How far you hit it, Dan?
And that was quite the
First guy to
diatribe.
take his skate off.
This time you put my dog to sleep.
So yeah, but sort of what Dan said is when I was at the firm, it's kind of like I hear a lot more bad beats or bad luck than I do people talk about the luck that led them to making something big. You see it in golf too, where someone will be like, oh man, if I hadn't, jagged that 2-foot putt, it's like, well, do you add a stroke for like the 12-foot one you made at some point, right? You're accountable for what you do. And we used to talk all the time, the software used, the spreaders for what we're doing. They're too slow. We're getting mishedged all the time. It's like, well, great. Everyone here is using that. Are you the best trader here? No. Okay. Well, then some of this is still on you. In fact, most of it. So,
right. And like, even on that topic too, the equipment you're using, if it's not working for you, make the investment, upgrade your internet a little bit, get a second monitor. If that's really going to help you, I don't discredit any of that, but when you have what you want and you have everything that 6 months ago you said was your downfall, once you have that, it can't continue to be the excuse.
Yeah, all you need is reliability to a certain extent. Just like any sport or anything else, I wouldn't recommend going out and spending $20,000 on a trading rig. It's easier to become a better trader first and then do it, right? Mick, you are the risk manager at this operation. What are some things that you see with the traders that you work with that point to you? Dan, what was that reaction?
We got a good comment from Greg. I know who to blame, but I can't fire myself.
Yeah, true. What do you kind of see as far as the traders that are working with us, or what do they do well, or what do you think they could use work on?
Sure. Well, everybody can use work. Before I address your question, I just kind of wanted to get out some thoughts in general. First of all, Danny, I couldn't help but smile when you brought up golf. Last few times I've been out, I've called myself a lot of names, but never blaming my tools. And full disclosure, Dan and I hack it up on the golf course in Wisconsin every once in a while. But I think first and foremost, as far as taking responsibility for your trading, whether you're doing it full time or it's, a part-time passion of yours, you're taking risk. And first and foremost, you need to treat it as a business, regardless of what capacity you're doing it in. If you don't treat it as a business, it's going to be, you're going to be gambling, and, gamblers don't make money. So that's not what we want to do here. Your first job, as far as taking responsibility, is protecting your account, not taking too much risk, not trading too large. So emotions get into it for everybody. Carol with the Amazon, she mentioned the word hope. You don't want to be hoping. It's very easy to get emotional about your trading if you don't have things structured. She knew what she had to do after the inside day. She put the call spread on. Put spread. So when it comes to trading and taking responsibility, your emotions are going to be there. The longer you're doing it, the more planning you have in place, the less emotional you will be. But I see a lot of traders fall into, issues when they start thinking more about what they want to happen with their position. You know, I want it to go up. I want it to continue going up. And when you're acting on what you want and not what you need to be doing, you're going to have problems. So people underestimate how disciplined you need to be in this industry. You need to be strict with yourself. It's not about what you want to happen with your current trade or what you want to see for your week or your month or your year. It's about taking action on what you need to do. Everybody has to be learning from their mistakes. All traders make mistakes. The ones that are more successful and have longer careers in here, they're very good about learning from their mistakes and not replicating the same behaviors more than once or twice. So I think that's also going to create separation from people, you know, who are finding success and not finding success. I've tried a lot of new things in my trading. And I feel like from when I started to where I am now, it's not the new things that I've tried that I've found one or a few of them that are working. It's all the mistakes I've made in the past that have kind of narrowed down how I can operate, you know, when I'm speculating. So I took a note here. I think as far as, you know, another thing about responsibility is doing your homework. I know a lot of people, they come in, sit in front of the computer, they look at their charts, they look at their news or whatever other outlets that they have, and then they start coming up with ideas when the market's open. You always want to be conscious of what's going on when you're trading, but I think people that are taking this seriously are doing their homework after the market closes, and they're assessing what happened during the day, the week. They're doing all their studies when the markets are closed. And I think that allows you to, when the market opens up again and you see your levels where you might have had some ideas, you get to react to what the market's doing instead of thinking in the moment and wondering what you need to be doing. You guys might have some different opinions on that, but I think planning and then reacting is what's worked for me. And I've spoken with other traders about that. So those are a few of the thoughts that I have around it.
One thing I just wanted to add on to what Mick was saying there, you know, I think a lot of people are raised in this mindset of like, it's a job. My job is to be there 7 a.m. I'm gonna work until 4. You know, that's my schedule. This, I think trading, you have to look at it. Any trader that I know that has been truly successful at this long-term, made careers out of it, retired because of it, have, you know, lived that life, is because they didn't make it a job. They made it a lifestyle. It was their lifestyle. They lived and breathed it. They woke up, they were doing it. They went to sleep, they were doing it. They got home from the office, they were doing it. It's constantly going. If you're trying to create it as a job, I think it's going to be a little bit harder. You have to kind of make it part of your life. You know, just because you go on vacation doesn't mean you can shut it off. You're pulling it up. How many times have you gone on vacation and you're sitting there poolside going, I wonder what stocks are doing right now. You know, we've all done it. You can't get away from it. And because it's something you're passionate about, it's something that is a true lifestyle to you, and you don't get away from it. And I think that's important.
And I think I know exactly what Dan's talking about, and I want to just specify one thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but I don't believe he's saying you need to be trading all day.
No.
Opposite.
Right.
No.
Right.
Understanding the market, paying attention to what's going on. And the more you do that is when you'll know when to trade best for yourself.
Well, on
when
that
not to.
note, I'm going to kick this over to Carol. We talk a lot about part of responsibility is keeping track of what you're doing, keeping your stats, journaling, things like that. Carol, what sort of things are you keeping track of nowadays as you go about your trading?
Lately, I've been not keeping track of my own trading and kind of putting a lot of my stuff I have some positions that I'm just holding for the long term and off to the side. I have spent a significant amount of time this summer trying to teach my son and my nephew about trading. So I'm trying to, well, one of the things that's kind of pertinent to today's discussion is to make a plan. Like you were saying, you have to do a little bit of research, know what you're going to do, make a plan and then stick to it and then accept the consequences of it. And for example, they both like to wake up on Monday mornings and look at which companies are coming out with earnings and then decide if they can put on a small option position to make money off of an earnings report. And I've been staking my son James to do some of this stuff so he can learn about it. It's theoretical unless you have an actual position on. And now then it starts like, okay, now I get it. So a couple of weeks back, he wanted to buy a call in Chipotle, and it was before their earnings. So I let him buy one $1,600 call, and the stock was significantly lower. It was an expensive option, but I let him buy it anyway. And as the earnings were getting closer to coming out, the market had rallied, and he made a little bit of money on it. And he's like, well, I'm up, maybe I should get out. And I'm like, well, this is your position. It's your trade. You have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to take the little bit of money you made off the table, or do you want to hold it for the earnings report, which is why you bought it in the first place? What do you want to do? So he hemmed and hawed about it and ended up getting out of the trade. Well, that one, was a huge winner. It went up 250 points or something. So he could have made a lot of money, and it was a very hard woulda, coulda, shoulda lesson for him, which I said is part of trading. I said, anyone who trades for a living has to learn how to handle the woulda, coulda, shouldas, because it is a part of your life, and it's a part of your life where you have to just be able to reboot, because he was so mad that he didn't hold that position. And that I let him get out of it. I'm like, I didn't let you get out of it. I gave you the power to make a decision. You decided. It had nothing to do with me. But, missing out on opportunities and figuring out how to reset your brain so that you can make another smart decision and then be accountable for that one, separate from the trauma that you just induced, lived through by missing that other opportunity. Because like all of this is very psychological. You have to be strong mentally and emotionally and be able to say, yes, I lost out on that. Now I'm going to reboot, and I'm not going to worry about what happened there, because my next trade is a unique and separate circumstance, and you have to kind of look at everything fresh. And it's hard. It takes years to be able to. I'm still not there. I'm doing it my whole life.
I don't think anyone's completely there. And Carol, I thought that story was going to go a completely different way, where he was going to hold and son, you're going to learn a lesson in the IV crush today.
That's a lesson too.
Occasionally they work out like that.
Yeah.
But hey, we've all been in his shoes where we watched it start to come in our favor. We get a little bit of green, and then you start to have those second thoughts like, shoot, earnings are coming. Do I really want to be in this?
Right.
And well, no, the plan said to do it, but until you go through it a couple times or you deviate, you start to learn, the plan is actually there for a very good reason.
Yeah, I think you need to really stick to your guns with, the reasoning behind why you put it on. And unless some new information comes out that completely changes your opinion, you shouldn't be influenced by being up a little bit of money and trying to grab it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're walking down the sidewalk and you find a $5 bill, you're going to pick it up, right? You're not going to step over it looking for a 50 further down the street.
Probably.
Yeah, you won't go broke paying yourself.
It might be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I think though, you were specifically asking how to prepare. I think, keeping some sort of little diary, not like a big long explanation, but just, this is the trade I made and this is how it ended. And this is why it ended this way. And just kind of keeping a note of how you're doing things. I always like to look at a chart. I want to know the fundamentals behind it. Everybody should, at least do those two things before they participate in any market.
Absolutely. One thing I want to toss out there for a little bit of practical information before we call it a day today on this is I've noticed, myself included, sometimes that the level that you get into a trade, it suddenly becomes as if Moses came down from the mountain and gave you this level. And what I mean is that if it goes against you, you will not ever liquidate this trade unless it is scratch or better, and I have been burned so many times where I could take my small loss, take my medicine. It's a gift. It goes way against you. It comes back. And then you're like, well, we gotta let this play out. I'm at least going to scratch it. And then, then you get in some real trouble. And then once again, the FOMO kicks in. We're running a little bit towards time here. So I was thinking, Dan, do you want to toss out a quote on this? Because I hear you have a barn burner of a amazing quote. I'm going to pump it up some more. Just a
All right,
really,
well, we're really pumping this up.
quote.
I didn't think it was that great, but
Prepare for the greatest quote that has ever been said on YouTube
in the world.
In the world.
Well, it comes from Catherine Pulsifer. At the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. Our success is a result of what we do.
That's
I would
good.
even say our success or failure is a result of what we do.
Who is Catherine?
I have no idea.
I love that quote. But as someone who's had that find quotes for things before, I can always tell when a quote is pulled from like searching for a quote and then the word, because it'll be from someone that's like, who is that again?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for your own inspirational quotes, feel free to go to Google and type in inspirational quotes.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna get I think our new office, we're gonna get a bunch of those hang in there kitties and just plaster them all over the place. But that'll be fun. Carol, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're
it's
welcome.
always a pleasure. Hope you have a great rest of summer and hope your son isn't still fuming about his Chipotle fortune.
No, there's always another one.
Yeah. Oh, hell, there's always another burrito place.
Yeah.
Someone's got to come at the king at some point there. Everyone else, have a lovely rest of your week. It's Tuesday. And Hogue, if you want to sign us off.
Sure.
Ready.
One of the most popular things people come and ask me is, how do I become a consistent and profitable trader? To which I answer with a question: what are you bringing with consistency to your trading? If you're not doing your homework, if you're not taking responsibility for the studies and the continual learning it takes to be a trader, what do you expect? We can all do this. I'm pretty sure just about anybody can do this. It's just a matter of making the right decisions and managing the emotions. So be accountable to it, be responsible for it, be successful. We'll look forward to seeing it.